Hi, good morning, my beautiful internet friends. It's good to see you again. Thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me. And for those of you that are new or do not know, hi, it's good to see you. My name is Michelle Davison. I am not a makeup artist. However, I am a stay-at-home wife, mother of 4, and a makeup enthusiast. Here in my YouTube space, I like to talk about makeup, all things makeup. I like to talk about hauls. I like to talk about project panning. I like to talk about games. I just like really being engulfed in all things makeup, and I'm really excited for today's video. It's something I haven't done yet, but I've always wanted to do. And when I saw the video that inspired my video, I knew that this was the one I had to jump in on. So my friend on Instagram, Makeup Lynn's, I'm going to tag her down in the doobly-doo, of course, but all love for you, Lynn. She is an incredible human being, a very positive, uplifting, supportive friend that you need in your corner, and I just adore her. I adore her so much. She partnered with another lady in the community named Makeup in the Mundane, and they created together the My Dream collab. And for those of you that know me, you know that I have a very strong affection for the Natasha Denona My Dream palette, but I have never picked it up. But the project, or not the project, but the game goes like this. They each chose 6 colors for each other to use to create a look using the My Dream palette while talking about their dreams. So the way they answered that question was pretty different, but pretty interesting. They talked about, their dreams as children, their dreams as adults, their literal dreams, their dream living situations, all sorts of things that involve their dreams. And I just really thought that was a beautiful, beautiful idea, because while your dreams can change over time, and they do, I think it's important to recognize that in some cases you are already living your dream, and just giving spotlight to that in such a difficult and emotionally taxing time is so beautiful. And so that's what I want to do today. I want to talk about my dreams. So I do not have the My Dream palette. That's a story for another day. But I have found a combo that gives pretty good doobie dupes. So Lynn was kind enough. I knew I had to join the project. I was like, please choose colors for me. I want to play. And she did. So the colors Lynn chose for me were Unity, which is a light pink, Carpe Diem, which is a dusty peach, Invention, which is like an orangey shimmer, Edgy is a purple matte, and Aspiration is a matte brown. So I chose my Rose Metals palette as well as my brand new Pretty Grunge palette. And those palettes together I think are going to give me a pretty good dupe. So, yeah, I might keep this closed. The shades I chose. So Unity for a light pink. I figured that the best light pink I have is Freedom from Pretty Grunge. So Freedom is down here. That's my Unity. Carpe Diem is a dusty peach, which I figured my closest is actually also from Pretty Grunge, which is this guy up here, in Liberty. So we have Freedom, Liberty, Invention is a orange shimmer, which of course I figured Rose Fire would be my closest. Edgy is a purple matte, which of course Nirvana. And then Aspiration is a matte brown, and Hope. So it's basically Pretty Grunge plus 1 shade from Rose Metals. I almost said My Dream, but I don't have My Dream. So yeah, I'm really excited. I am excited to put together a look, and I'm not going to do much talking about what shades are going where. I'm more or less just going to let the heart speak, but I'm so excited. So my dreams. So as a child, I was very shy. I was raised by my dad. My mom was off doing her own thing, and my dad was very, very, very overprotective. So I lived with my grandparents and my dad, and I wasn't allowed to do anything. Like, my dad was pretty antisocial. He did not like to leave his house, and he did not have any friends. So the only time I was allowed to hang out with friends outside of school was if he knew their parents, but my dad refused to make any effort to know their parents. He was one of those. So I, as a result, could not go anywhere ever, because not only could I not go places unless he knew their parents, but nobody could come to my house because he didn't know their parents. So I was pretty lonely. And so what I did is I spent most of my time doing school, which, looking back on it, was not a bad thing. But of course, when I was living it, I was like, are you serious? But it was not a terrible thing. Okay, just to recap, I'm using Freedom, Liberty, Nirvana, Hope, and Rosefire. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I got it. So I spent most of my time studying. I was a huge bookworm, and I really liked school. And so throughout my entire schooling, literally from when I first started developing an opinion about, careers in school and all of that, until I was halfway through with my undergrad degree in college, I thought I was going to either be a doctor or a pharmacist. And I loved math. So that's why I was leaning pharmacist, because for the longest time I was leaning just doctor. But my love and just natural talent for math made pharmacist just seem like it made the most sense to me as I went through like high school and college. So anyway, when we ended up doing cadavers, which I don't want to talk about it on here, so if you want to know, look it up. But basically it's a tool that they use in medicine that turned me off from medicine forever. Yeah. So then I was stuck because I was like, I'm about to graduate with my bachelor's here soon. And now I have no idea what I want to do with my life. Like, I don't have any hobbies. I don't have really any skills beyond school. I don't know what I want to do with my life. So then I was just like, okay, well, I need to graduate because I was so burnt out. I was working like 60-hour work weeks. At this time, it was my retail job. Before that, it was my fast food job. While I was going to school, and I had a live-in boyfriend at the time as well. So I was pretty stretched thin and burnt out and exhausted. And so at this point, I didn't really take the time to, develop any hobbies or try to really figure out what I wanted to do in this life. I just wanted to be done. I was so done. I was done. And so I ended up majoring in sociology. I keep feeling like I'm forgetting a shade, but like I don't think I am. I don't think I am. I feel like I'm forgetting. So after I graduated from college, I started, working my full-time corporate job where I met people and was able to be my true authentic self for the first time in my entire life because I ended up moving out of my dad and my grandparents' house. And I got pregnant with my daughter during COVID, so it's 2019 to 2020, but this was 2020. And I started watching District Court. And I was watching it every day. They had 3 sessions at 3 different times of the day, and I watched all of them. I planned my day so that I could be available to watch them, in fact. So it was at this time I realized I actually really, really enjoyed like law and the legal system. And I determined that I wanted to be a paralegal. And specifically, I wanted to be a family law paralegal because I am very passionate about children and homemaking and just making sure children have the best advantages in life that they can and the best situations and just have the best of everything they can possibly have. And I feel like I'm so not only passionate but detail oriented when it comes to that I would do very well. I actually enrolled in a paralegal course online, and with the stimulus money we got back then, I paid for my first quarter, and I was actually doing very well. But I was also a brand new single mother at this time. And keeping up with studying while being a primary and sole caretaker of a brand new infant was difficult. And so yes ma'am, I decided that I was going to take a break from paralegal school. You're just so sweet, ma'am. You are so sweet. And that I would go back when the time was better. And then I met Sean. And I realized that while I enjoy like the idea of being a paralegal career-wise the most, there was nothing that brought me more fulfillment and joy than being a homemaker. I was still working my corporate job at this time, but all I wanted to do was like laundry and cook and just like be a wifey. I am such a wife's girl. I'm such a husband's girl. Like I'm sure you guys know. Like I just love being a wifey. So then we decided that I was going to take some time off and be a homemaker. And I had a really hard time with that at first because all I have ever done my whole life is work way too much, work for everything I had. And so becoming like entirely dependent on a spouse was a terrifying thing for me. But the concept of being able to be home with my kids and cook every meal and like just do all the chores and just make a home and do all the homework and all of that just sang to my heart so much. So at first it was supposed to be a temporary thing because I was like, you know, I worked so hard. I was also the breadwinner of our family. I worked so hard to get where I'm at with my career, and I'm scared that if I step away from it for too long, I'm going to effectively have to start over. And, you know, I worked so hard and I'm so proud of my accomplishments and all this stuff. Well, then my son was born. And I took one look at that baby because I was going to work with my daughter, like when she was 4 months old onward. I had already had to leave her because I was a single mother before I met my husband. I took one look at that baby and I was like, I'm never going back. I am never going back. And I never have. And now I have our youngest daughter as well. And I genuinely feel at this point that I am living my dream. I get to, you know, rely on a spouse who is so committed to making us all happy and putting us first and loves me being a stay-at-home wife and mother as much as I love being a stay-at-home wife and mother, and a man who comes home and he doesn't, you know, kick off his boots and try to rest. He comes home, changes, and then instantly engages with his family and his children. And he's made my dreams come true in so many ways. And so when I tell you guys I am a husband's girl, like, I am such a husband's girl, like, professionally, I don't even want to call it professionally because I'm not doing this in a professional manner. I'm doing this just, you know, to make friends and put myself out there. But he's like, well, why don't you come up with like a catchy screen name, like, for your makeup page and stuff? And I'm like, that's because, like, I have so much pride in my name. Like, I never liked Michelle. Like, I always thought my name was kind of yucky, but, like, next to his, like, Michelle Davison, you know, that just sounds so, it just makes my heart so happy. Like, I get to be that. That's me. So I feel like I'm living my dream, you guys. Like, I get to be a wife. I get to be a mother. I get to have the most beautiful children who are honestly so thoughtful and so loving, and they are so considerate of each other. While we're talking about children and my dream, I get a lot of questions in the real world when I'm out in the wild with my family about if we're done having children. And of course we can't control this. This is all if things go the way that we hope them to. But no, I don't feel like we're done having children. I would love to have 10 biological children by the time this era of life is behind us. And I don't know if we're going to get there. I hope we do, but that would be my dream. I have always wanted a big family, and 4 is pretty big for, you know, today, but I don't think 4 is big, you know, in general. So I hope we're not done. I will, of course, be so grateful and appreciative and just feel so incredibly lucky with however many we end up with, but that would be my dream. In terms of living situation, so we live in the Pacific Northwest. We are up in Washington State, and my dream would be to, I feel like the shape of this look isn't taking the shape I really wanted it to, but that's okay. My dream would be to follow his family wherever his family ends up. So I met them once, but I loved them. So his brother and his sister-in-law and their children came up last summer to meet us, because I never met anybody. Sean and I have been married for 3 years, together for 4. And I never met his family because they were all across the country and nobody made, like, their way up here because it's a long way. Man, I kind of want to cheat and add, like, a little silver to this. So is that bad? I might do it, Lynn. I might do it. I think I'm going to do it. I'm just going to add a little bit of silver. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. But they came and they were just so incredible. And so when I got pregnant with my daughter, our new baby, we asked his mom to come up here to help us watch the kids when I had the baby. Because my second baby, my toddler boy, is only 1.5 years. And so I didn't really want to rely on, like, any sort of sitter or anything like that because he's just so young. Like, he's so little. He has never been away from me or his dad. So being with a total stranger, I just didn't feel comfortable with that. So she came up here, and my mother-in-law, you guys, I loved my mother-in-law. She is so much like my husband. I guess he's so much like her, but she's kind, she's understanding, she's supportive, but she's definitely, like, she'll tell you if you're doing something that's, like, you know, that could be improved upon. Like, my homemaking skills are not, I'm still a brand new homemaker, you know, like, they're not great. But she just gives me all the tips, and she genuinely tries to help me, like, get better and feel better. And she teaches me how to cook and just, like, how to clean and like how to work with my kids so that they're more engaged with like what we do. And I loved her so much, where I was like, yeah, we're gonna follow them wherever they go. But we just bought our house last year, so we are probably still a ways. They just moved to a new state, and they asked us to come with them. And I've never lived anywhere but the Pacific Northwest, but I am ready to follow them wherever they go, because I want that for my kids. Like, I want them to have that love and support, and just like, sorry, I'm so bad at like doing eyeliner and jib jabbering at the same time. I just want Sean's family for my kids. Like, Sean's family would be so good for my kids, and I want it. I suppose I should say the state that they moved to. They moved to Colorado, which is also a pretty liberal state, and my dream would be to be in a liberal state. I don't think I could be in a conservative state at all, so there's that. Also, and this is just based off of my biases from being chronically online. I've never actually consumed any of this, but I would love to be in a state that has a Dunkin' Donuts, because I watch a family vlogger. I say family vlogger, but she's not really a family vlogger. She's more of a mom vlogger. She just records herself like doing mom stuff. Her name is Paige Nicole. I'll try to remember to tag her in the doobly-doo as well. But she's just so cool. She's the kind of mother and woman and wife that I really aspire to be. And she really likes Dunkin', and she's talked about like their iced coffees and stuff. And so I determined I really need to try Dunkin', and we don't have a Dunkin' up here. So Colorado actually has Dunkin' Donuts. And so I'm just like, oh wow, that's part of the dream. That's just like a funny little, a kind of unserious aspect of this, but kind of, you know? I do think that, I mean, the true dream would be to never return to work proper, to be a homemaker and mother as long as my children are little. And if I have the 10 I want, that will take probably until my husband is either retired or close to retired, I would imagine. And then I would love if my children would let me watch my grandchildren, because I don't know, I hope that I stay this way for my whole life. But as of right now, the kind of grandparent I see myself being is the kind that is very involved. And of course, like, I would respect my children's like parenting choices, like even if I disagreed with them, because let's be real, science changes, like recommendations from professionals changes over time. Like, car seat safety these days isn't nearly what it was 20 years ago. But I hope I'm never one of those like grandparents who's like, well, I raised 12 of you, so I'm going to do it my way. Because I know how uneasy that makes me feel when people do that to me. And so I hope that I, as an older individual, never do that to my children. But yeah, I would love if they would let me spend some time with my grandchildren while they're at work, and get to take them to the library and take them to the beaches and take them to the zoos and all that stuff. Because I do not see a life where there's no little children in it. And I know, obviously, I can't have little children for my entire life. But as of right now, and I have a hard time seeing a life like that and not feeling like empty. So that's my hope. If that's off the table, and when I'm an empty nester, if I decide to return to the workplace. There's a couple possible jobs, possible careers that I can see in my future. And I haven't quite ironed out exactly which one I'm most serious about, but there's a few of them. So obviously, like, being a paralegal is still something I have interest in. My worry with that is it's a very high emotion, high stress job. So one of my best girlfriends, actually, like, two of my best girlfriends, and my one friend from college that I made, they're all family law paralegals. And they say the emotional, like, baggage that you bring home is a lot, because, like, you're seeing some horrific things. A lot of things I'm not going to get into because they're just so horrifying. But if you want to talk about it, we can DM about it. But yeah, so because I don't need to work right this second, and my husband is able to pay our bills, luckily, I don't know if I would want to bring that kind of, baggage home. I think I might want to keep it to just, like, watching district court when I feel so inclined. I think that's more, still working away at my repressed goodies. The other career I thought about doing is cosmetology school. So I didn't have a mom when I was growing up. I actually have never had a mom. My grandma taught me everything I know about being, like, a wife and a woman and a mother, but she didn't really do makeup and she didn't do hair or anything like that. So really I self-taught everything I know with the help of, like, my husband and YouTube. And so I would really like to do cosmetology school and, like, learn how to do my makeup and hair better. And, like, I'm trying right now to watch videos and stuff so I can learn how to do my daughter's hairs, so that they can at least, feel happy and confident and pretty. But I have a real hard time. Sean is, oh my goodness, I keep forgetting. Once you repress, it's so pigmented. But then I feel trapped because, like, okay, my cheeks have to match, but it's my dream look, so I feel like actually what I can do here, I feel like, okay, there's opportunity here. I feel like I know what I'm going to do. This is either going to work out great or not, but there is opportunity here to save this. Yeah, I think it'd be tons of fun to do cosmetology school. I don't think I would want to do hair. I've never, like, at least professionally, but I think doing makeup professionally would be, like, a fun thing to do. Even if I'm not making, like, a bunch of money, just, like, maybe if I had, like, a weekend gig or something, like, if I did, like, prom hair or prom makeup, or, like, partnered with, like, a local photographer to do, like, their clients' makeups for sessions. I think that would be really fun. I also thought about doing, like, barista work part-time, because when and if we follow his family around, then maybe working at Dunkin', like, 1 or 2 days a week might be fun. But I don't know. I think it's going to really depend on, like, if my husband is able to. Oh my goodness, look at my cheeks. Okay, this is fine. It's my dream look. My dream is to be a blush goddess. And we're living the dream today. I do actually have an idea, though. Okay, so my whole cheek is, like, pink and tangerine, but where is it? If I take my Plumpataka and then I do, like, little hearts on my cheek, maybe. Oh man, this had the potential to be so good, and my execution is just not fantastic. But I think that's cute. I think that saved it a little bit, you know? I would also love to like volunteer, because I've just been so busy where I'm like, I haven't had time to really do any volunteer work, but I always thought I would, like as a stay-at-home wife. I think it's because I was a mother before I was a stay-at-home wife, and so rather than spending the time like discovering like who I am and what I want to do, I was learning how to be a mother. But really, truly, I feel like I'm living the dream. Like, I feel like just so incredibly lucky. This is kind of cute. I'm not mad about this. I think this is kind of cute. Should I do like dots? Or should I just leave it? No, we're doing dots. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. This was such a fun look. Thank you for choosing these colors for me, Lynn. Like, these are not colors I would, I mean, well, they totally are, because, like, I love my dream, but I don't think I would have, you know, done the self-motivation to, like, deviate this much if it wasn't for, like, oh, I forgot my highlighter, shoot. It's okay. Plenty of excitement for today, I feel. And then my lipper. What lipper do you want? Let's use Pat. I need romantic too. I would love to have animals, but I don't feel like I'm responsible enough for animals. Like, I don't know. At least as long as I have small children, I don't think I could be. So this is my final look. As you guys can see, the cheek got a little. So this is I ended up doing a little bit of a halo. And then my cheeks, yeah, the blush got a little intense, but I decided to put the hearts to try to save it. So hopefully that saved it. I had to do the dots just because I wanted to, but anyway, I had so much fun. And my dream, I guess the last thing I should mention about my dream is to build a community here on YouTube and Instagram of makeup enthusiasts and lovers who just support each other in all that we do, who support the no buys, who support the challenges and the games we want to play, who support the looks that may not work out the way we thought, and support the looks that do, and just the love all around. That's what I'm after. So thank you again for letting me join your little game, Lynn and Andie. And I look forward to seeing what your guys' dreams are. So again, thank you for spending part of your day with me. I had a blast talking about my life and my goals and my dreams, and I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about me today. And please, as always, feel empowered and encouraged to write something down in the doobly-doo or in DMs. I always like to chat. And with that, I will let you guys get on with your day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.